a froggy morning, but it's siding day. Well, siding and porch posts. So let's go take a look at what they're doing.
We're trading.
Today they are installing the front porch posts. These are locally sourced pine, custom milled to 10-inch by 10-inch. We were very particular about how we wanted these to be cut to fit the porch beam, which is why I took the day off of work to be here. They were milled specifically for our house, and really, any mistakes would just ruin the look we wanted and be expensive to correct. Days prior to installing these posts, many discussions were had before deciding how to fit the posts to the porch beam. Right now they are squaring off the bottom of the post so that it will sit flat on the base. There are several options for post bases, and quite often you'll see black metal brackets with decorative bolts that kind of wrap over the bottom. This wasn't the look we wanted, and those are over $100 a piece. Mary found that Factory Direct Supply online carries a more modern option in a black poly base. This comes in a pack of 10 for less than $300. Well, $300 versus $1,500 is a big savings. He's grabbing the base right now, which will be secured to the post using screws so that water drains away from the wood through engineered channels. Once the base is secured, a hole is drilled into the post and down into the concrete for 1/2-inch rebar. The purpose of the rebar is to hold the post in position under the porch beam. The rebar is secured to the post and the concrete with construction adhesive. The top of the post is notched so that the porch beam rests in the notch, also called a saddle. He's using a sawzall to notch it out, and then he'll use a planer to fine-tune the edges. Notching the post this way allows it to support the porch beam while still allowing it to run up to the porch ceiling. I'll show this more in depth in a later episode. If you subscribe with notifications, you won't miss that episode. Hint, hint.
Hey, come on. Have a little decency. Don't piece like the camera.
The post is cut to the correct height, but because math, dadgummit, the post is just long enough at an angle it doesn't slide in. So we have to literally raise the roof just a small amount for it to tip into place and settle into its final resting place. I was watching as he was looking at the bottom to see that it was settled down fully. They were trying to figure out why it wouldn't slide into place, and realized that because of that just slight angle, they needed to lift the roof a bit. So they grabbed some 2x4s and were trying to lever it up, and it wouldn't quite go. Then they suggested sending someone to get a jack to raise it up some. I said, oh wait, I've got a floor jack right here in the trailer. So Harbor Freight 3-ton floor jack to the rescue.
Take it out. We're just going to have to wait.
Kind of humorous. They didn't want to damage the beam wrap, so someone donated their hoodie They're not making a scarecrow. They just don't want to replace metal. And so now that will keep the wood from scratching the metal beam wrap. I got to move the metal roofing out of the way. Probably should have moved that earlier, but better late than never. They're trying not to overlift the roof. They don't want to possibly damage anything, although there's quite a bit of flexibility. But they're also noticing, you can see how he's pulling fairly hard on that before it finally pops in. There's a lot of weight, there's a lot of tension up there. And just like that, the jack is released, the roof settles down, and the first post is in place. In case anyone is wondering where our roofing and siding is coming from, here's a hint. They're a locally owned company, and obviously they custom bend all the metal. The roofing was bent off-site. Obviously the siding is being done on-site. Pretty neat setup. Buckeye Metal setting up to roll some tin. So this is pretty cool. I'm gonna roll a flat steel in the correct color. If you can hear me, that's feeding in to the machine. I don't know if I can see anything in this or not. Not really. But that feeds in. Tips it off. It makes a stack of siding with the board and batten. Obviously all computer controlled. This cuts exactly what's needed. All of these. And of course we've got our front and rear entrance colors. All right, it's a little noisy out here, but let's do a late morning, almost lunchtime update, see where we're at. Got the garage wall lower is completely sided. Working on the upper. That's looking good. It'll be fun to pull the garage doors closed again after that siding is done. See how that looks. Carport is trimming around the door. Handy to be able to just write the measurements right on the wall. All right, let's see up front. See how those posts are coming along. All right, they're just about done with this section of wall. Those posts are looking very nice. We are going to sand those posts. Same with the trusses. So everything will be cleaned up. They're not going to stay rough wood and water stained and Watch me set this post. There it went. Beautiful. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, click that like button, hit the subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.